Welcome to the Peaceful Entrepreneur Podcast, where together we're learning how to have peace in the process of everyday business ownership by improving one step at a time how we think and what we do. I'm your host, Amy Stout. Nicole, thank you so much for being with me today for the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on.
I know. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is just a little bit of like a starry-eyed moment, guys, because I found Nicole on TikTok because she is viral. Your TikTok is amazing.
Thank you.
I love it so much. And I actually deleted TikTok, but
Really?
Before I deleted TikTok, I would just go on your page and just watch your videos over and over again because they're so satisfying. I don't know why, but just watching the process of you designing something and seeing it come to life. I think I just love transformations.
And it's funny because a lot of people say that, but from me designing it, I never knew it was satisfying. I just kind of put my work out there and people were like, this is so cool to watch. I'm like, people are actually interested in this. Okay.
That's so cool.
I have something to go with now.
It's kind of perfect that you weren't trying. So it just kind of happened.
No, I just like to show my process, whether it's time lapses or whatever. And then I just found something and it stuck. And then I was like, all right, well, if this is getting me views and clients, let's just keep it going.
I love that. And it totally worked on me because I found you a while before I reached out. So I had been watching for a while, and then it came time, I knew I wanted to get a new logo done for my business, but you know this probably better than anybody. Every designer's vibe is different. And so you're not going to be for everyone.
Yep.
But I just really felt when I saw your work, I was like, I feel like she'll get what I need.
Yeah,
and
you're
the
great.
Style. Thanks. And the style.
It worked out.
Yes. It was perfect. I feel like we had one phone conversation plus the questionnaire that I filled out.
Yes.
And your first 4 were just you immediately nailed it.
I love how you also recorded your reaction and everything on there. You were the dream client because I had a bunch of testimonials to kind of repost and be see guys, look, so you were great. Thank you for doing all that.
Of course. Yes. Well, thank you for being awesome because I'm also very perfectionist. So I'm sure there were a couple things that I was like, this is just the smallest detail, but I'm sorry. I'm going to be perfectionist in this moment.
I would 100% be that way too. You have to be, because if it's something you're going to use for a long time and hopefully throughout your whole business, you don't want to look at something and be like, this is still bothering me. You want to love it and think it's perfect.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
So I don't blame you.
Thanks for being gracious with that. But now it's all over the website. I've gotten a couple of pieces of merch printed, but of course I want to do more. I've got new business cards with it on there, and I just feel so put together now. And
you have to send me that stuff. I want to see it all. I know you showed me some stuff, but
yes.
the way you're using it is perfect too. I feel like some clients, I'll have a logo that I love and then they don't use it in a way that I think portrays the logo best, but have that creative eye for sure. So it looks great.
That's so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really love that I can have it as a watermark on my social posts.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to put
A1, right?
The A1. Yeah. The little square and the bottom of the thing or whatever.
Did you end up now? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, now I'm thinking it'd kind of be cool to put it on the YouTube channel. Just in the little bottom thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess that would be more the Peaceful Entrepreneur logo, but.
Did you end up using the just the Vine one that I sent you later too for anything?
Yes, I took that. If you look at my website, I took that and then I also cut out like just a single leaf and used it as like bullet points on the
Oh,
website.
I love that.
And then I took the vine and put it like in the background of some of the website too.
Yeah. You're so creative.
Thanks. Well, I didn't actually do it. My web designer did because I don't know
Oh,
how to do that.
well, your
But
web designer is so creative.
she's awesome. She's great. So, anyways, this is just so fun to actually get to connect and like talk to the person behind these TikToks that I've been loving. So yeah, it was wonderful to work with you. I love my logo. Just like I knew I would. I knew I would. Like in the moment, in the process, you're like, what is this going to turn out like?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure too. Like wanting to make that time between like sending the logo off versus waiting for a response. I'm just like, it's been a day. I wonder like what they're thinking. Like it's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah. But me being a business owner, you know, watching just like the what you're putting out in the world, I was always like, I wonder what it's like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So like when we first got on the phone, I think I asked you a couple of questions just about like how things work because I'm just curious. So thanks for answering those questions too.
Oh yeah, and we had talked about too. We had a brief phone conversation about business, but you were like, I would love to connect with you in the future about business and talk about our businesses. And now we can. It's a perfect way to do it.
Yes. I was already thinking about the podcast. So when I saw that you did another podcast interview, I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was like kind of putting it off at first because I'm like, I'm the type of person where like if I feel pressured in a situation, I like feel like I overthink things, but this is way better than I thought it would be. Like it's not quite, it just feels like conversation more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd be like more in my head, but yeah, I like it.
I think podcasting is more effective in some ways than a lot of other marketing because people can actually connect with you and your story way better than they can just from like a 30-second video.
Oh, I completely agree too. And it's like raw, you know, it's not like super, I mean, with TikToks, you're just trying to, or like reels, whatever, you're just trying to get people's attention so fast. And like, it's just the point. It's not the same conversation. You're not getting to know someone on that kind of like level, I feel like.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I love podcasting. So thanks for joining me in this space. But
I'm curious, how many podcasts have you done now?
Like interviewed or like my personal podcast?
You like all together. How many have you put out there?
As we're recording this, 20.
Okay.
But when this comes out, it might be closer to 25. But yeah, it's been since February of this year that I started putting them out.
Okay.
And I've done weekly up until I'm on a little like 2-week break right now. So
okay.
Yeah.
Great. I'm excited.
Yeah, I love it so much. And I'm starting to like get on other podcasts now too. So that's why I was clarifying. So I've really enjoyed like being on other people's podcasts too.
Good for you.
Thanks. So I'm excited to talk today about making your hobby and your passion your business. And I know that this is like, some people can look at that and think of it as like a dream.
Yeah.
And some people might look at that and be like, I would never. And I think it's like in some scenarios, if you do it right, it is a dream. And I think that you're kind of one of those cases, but you have to be careful with it. Like you can't just go into it and like monetize all your hobbies and then you won't have anything fun left just for you. So I just want to hear your experience. So share a little of your story. I've watched the YouTube video where you shared your story, but share a little bit of that, your school background, how you got into your business and how you kind of mentally made that switch. Like, I am intentionally going to make my hobby my business.
Yeah. So I'll start with like a little bit about myself first, just so people like know how to piece it all together. So my name's Nicole Weber. I'm living in Northern Virginia, so like right outside of the DC area, and I'm 26. I own Nicole Weber Design, which is a graphic design agency, but people mostly know me just for like specializing in logo design, and that's what you found me for. And I took the business full-time in 2021, and then we've been growing ever since. So that's kind of like a quick background. But I'll kind of talk about more details of kind of how I got to where I am now. So I went to college at Salisbury University, which is on the Eastern Shore in Maryland. And I got my BFA, which is Bachelor of Fine Arts with a track in graphic design. And then after graduating, I did have some internships. And then after I graduated, I worked some full-time graphic design jobs for other companies, but I always did the kind of logo design, taking on whatever freelance project I could on the side. And then it kind of started slowly growing, and I wasn't feeling fulfilled in the jobs that I was working for other companies. I just felt like I wanted to be able to be more creative. So then that's when I was already having a hard time balancing the two. So I just decided, let's take this full time, let's do it. I wasn't fully booked up. Like it was a hard call because it's like, how do I know I'm gonna be successful to take this kind of job?
Yeah.
It
You
was
always have to take a leap. At some point, there's a leap that you have to
I
take.
know. I was like, but this is what I got to do because I didn't like the job I was at, to be honest too. So it's like worst case, I'll just get another one. Like, but I knew that's what I wanted to do, like pursue my business. So that happened. I took the jump and I actually started, I don't know if you saw this or how far back you went on like my social media pages, but I was doing a lot of like paintings and murals first. That was like kind of my thing. I was getting a lot of projects for that. And then I started posting on TikTok and I posted one in addition to all of the mural designs, the canvas paintings, I posted one video of a or like process video of a logo. And it was actually a plumbing logo and it happened to go viral. And
The
it
rest
was
is history.
the rest is history. I was like, yeah, over 1 million views. I remember when I hit 10,000 views, I was like, this is insane. It's blowing up. Like, because I never got views. I just didn't. And then that happened. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. So and then now I'm to a point. So since I started in 2019, or no, I started in 2021 full time. And then I hired my first employee. Well, we'll go into more detail about that later, but about a little over a year ago. Um,
So about
and
a year into business or
yeah,
so. Yeah.
yeah, correct. So that's where I'm at now. And then what was your
How did you, I guess, like the conscious idea of monetizing your hobby? Like, was that something you thought about back in that moment when you did it?
um
Or did you just like do it?
I just kind of did it, to be honest with you. And I didn't really think about that and think about like the problems with maybe making a hobby like something that I'm gonna make money off of. I didn't really think through like any negatives or anything. I just was like, I love doing it, so let's just go with it. It's getting me business. Like people pay good money for graphic design work, specifically logo work too. So like, let's just go with it. And it is tough. There are definitely some, like, I'm not gonna lie, there's some negatives with it, but like, I think that positives totally outweigh it. Like, I mean, I'd say the one thing is that I actually have trouble with is trying to balance like my free time versus doing work. And that's, I'm sure you can relate to that, to anyone who owns a business, like creating that schedule every day and like dedicating time to doing your personal things and actually having a social life. Like for me, that's like a problem right now. And I work, and this is like no joke, every weeknight after I'll eat dinner, I'll maybe like go to the gym or something, and then I go back right to my laptop. I literally lay right there and I'll just like be on my computer working, watching TV. But like, even though it's like kind of relaxing because I'm watching TV, I'm always like still working. So trying to find that balance.
Yeah. Is that something that you want to do, or you feel like you have to do, or you feel like it's just like second nature at this point? Like, why do you work late?
So it is second nature, and I've taken on too much client work, just to like be completely honest. Like it's trying to find that amount where it's like I'm working really hard because I do want to work hard and I do love what I do, but also still giving myself more time. So finding that good in between,
Yeah.
because I want to take on as many projects as I can, but I also need to find that right balance where I feel like I can still do the other things that I enjoy. But like
Yeah.
you said, it's still taking a hobby, something that you enjoy, to your business. So it's like in my mind, I still kind of enjoy what I'm doing, but I
Right.
still need to dedicate time to do other things I enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Share with me a little bit about that. Like, what do you feel like you've ever been at a loss of figuring out other things to do now that you've made your hobby your work?
Yeah, honestly. And it's not bad, but it's like sometimes like my boyfriend will be like, why don't you like ever kind of, why don't we just take a break? And I'm like, but
Yeah.
I deep down, I kind of want to do this. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like am enjoying what I'm doing. So, I mean, I definitely have other things I enjoy now. I want to get back into like kind of painting and drawing and those kind of things that I really enjoyed. But it's also like being creative all day and then in that time that I have, going and doing that again might not be the best way to go. So
Right.
I'd say for me, the big things are like getting outside and going for walks. I do that
Yeah.
a lot. Taking a break and going to the gym or doing like a fitness class or vacations are huge too.
Are you able to turn it off on vacation?
Not totally. I actually have a vacation. I'm going on Sunday, this coming Sunday. And I already know, like, I'm probably going to work till like wake up early, wake up at like 7, not that early, but still kind of early. And then like work till maybe like 10 and then like shut it off the rest of the day. But it's
Okay.
hard because when you have an employee too, like you need to be available for them as well and just make sure everything's going as planned. So,
Yeah.
what
It's
about
a
you?
hard balance.
Do you have any problems with balancing it or do you feel like you found it?
Well, I don't as much have it as my hobby. Like for me, work is a little bit more work, and I've
Yeah.
kind of always I started the beginning drawing that line, so it's been a little bit easier because I've noticed like if I slip into working late, like then your brain's like, "Oh, we can do this." Like it's not a
Hmm.
big deal. But if you kind of like keep the strict boundary in your brain and just like you have to be strict with yourself to a certain point. Like I feel
Yeah.
like I've I've been better about it, but I think the secret for me was just starting at the beginning and
Yeah.
also establishing the precedent with my clients and my contractors like, hey, you can reach out, but I'm not going to respond.
Yeah.
like um
Yeah. No, that's true. You still seem to enjoy what you do a lot though.
I enjoy it because I take breaks from it though.
No,
like
that's
that's I think cuz I don't know. That for me I was going to ask you about burnout because
yeah.
for me, if I just keep working, 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 I burn out, then I don't enjoy it anymore.
Mhm.
But like if I take breaks and take space, and for me, it's take processing time,
Yeah.
then I am able to preserve all of the pieces that I love and like
Mhm.
let those be at the forefront
Yeah.
rather than like the negative stuff that comes up when you start to get burnout. So have you gotten to a burnout before?
Um, yes, but I feel like my way of kind of dealing with it, it's more like a certain project burnout. It's not like full creative burnout.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like I'm sick of working on these type of specific logos, let's say. Then
I
I'll
get
be
that.
like, okay, I can come back to it and I'll just start one that like is next on the list that excites me a little more because there's certain projects that do. Like that's just going to happen. So then I'll spend some time on that and then go back to it and like work on it a little bit here and there. So like my way of
Yeah.
dealing with it is finding one that I actually kind of enjoy working on more. And that's why I work on like probably like 3 to 4 logos at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a good strategy because you are giving yourself a break.
Yeah.
Even though you're distracting yourself with more work, you're still giving
Yeah.
yourself a break.
Yeah, like I was going through a phase where I was doing so many like real estate or home improvement related logos. And it was
Just
just
wearing out
like,
on them.
yeah. And some people look at it as a positive. Clients like, oh, you've done so many of these. That's great. I want to do another. But I look at it as
Right.
honestly like more of a negative. It's like better to use me for types of projects that I've never done almost because then it's like I have more creativity with those projects. I haven't exhausted any ideas. So some people are like, well, you have nothing like that in your portfolio. Like, how do you know you can, like, how do I know that you can do it? I'm like, I promise you it's a positive. Like,
Yeah.
this is a good thing.
I like that perspective. That
Yeah.
totally makes sense. So, how do you think that you're avoiding all out creative burnout? Because I feel like it's inevitable, but like, how are you
Yeah.
avoiding
I don't know.
it?
It just hasn't happened. Maybe it's just because I really, really love what I do. I don't,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I have switching up even so the projects, but then also like workplace sometimes too. Like my assistant comes once a week and like we'll go work at a coffee shop or like switch up where we are. Like that helps.
Yeah.
And always working on new things. Like you're not working on the same project for so long, so it feels like a new start and a refresh in a way. Um, but avoiding total creative burnout, like it sounds dumb, but like if I'm also just like I need a break, I'll literally like go take my dog to the dog park for like an hour and just like chill there and then like kind of
Yeah.
reset.
That's a
Like
beautiful
things
part
like
of
that.
working for yourself. You can just
Yeah.
like decide to take a break whenever you need
Oh,
to.
I know. It is great.
Yeah.
I know. Are you on like a ton of meetings a lot, so it's like harder for you? Or you
This actually, that's a boundary I've drawn, and I just schedule meetings on Wednesdays. So
Oh,
I
really?
batch my days. So since I'm more, well, I mean, you're running the business and working in the business. I'm
Yeah.
not doing as much client work anymore, pretty much at all. I'm just running everything.
Wow.
And so I have an admin day, a marketing day, a call day, a
Hmm.
brainstorm creative day, and then a catch up on whatever's left.
Now, do you ever have one of those days though where you're really not in the mood for it and you'll switch them up? Does that
Yes.
ever happen? Yeah.
Yeah. Because yesterday was well, yeah, yesterday was a marketing day. I had it on my list to do like a quarterly, just think about my marketing and lead
Mhm.
generation strategies and revisit it and see how I think things are working, what I need to change, and what I need to plan for the next quarter. And I was feeling kind of sick, and my brain wasn't really like in that place. And I
Mhm.
also recorded 2 podcast episodes, so my creativity was a little bit
Yeah.
up. And so I just moved it. Like I
Mhm.
just like
Yeah, you can do
bumped
that.
it over. Yeah.
No, that's a
So yeah.
great thing. Yeah, if you're like not feeling something, I can't even picture like now that I've worked like this, working in an office and having to be in there. Like, this is a random thing, but let's say I'm just having an off day or like I'm not feeling that great or whatever. Like in the office, you're stuck there, just like
Yeah.
thinking in your head, like, I don't feel good right now. But like now it's just like I can just migrate to the couch, like, or just like take a nap if I have to. Like,
Yeah.
I love that freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. Sleep in if you feel sick, or like, yeah, feeling like mentally overwhelmed. I can just like get up and walk outside. Like
Yeah.
you're right. I don't think I could ever go back, which is so bad because we're both
Yeah,
26 and it's like so early in
I
life,
know.
but like, oh
I know.
well.
I just can't picture it now.
Yeah.
Like, do you miss some things about that though,
No,
working in
not at
office?
all.
I don't
No.
either.
I don't this is it's a control thing though. Like I
Yeah.
like to be the one in control. I don't
Yeah.
want to
No,
answer to anyone else, which like is a good thing, but also probably a bad thing.
I mean, I would say the only thing is like the social aspect that you're kind of like
Yeah.
missing out on in a way. But I also feel like you talk, well, you said not so much anymore, but I feel like you're just a social person. Like you probably find people to talk to.
Yeah, I am. And I think that for the first, this is funny. I just talked about this in one of the episodes that I recorded yesterday, which will come out before this one. It's called How to Start Your Business Peacefully.
Okay.
And one of the things I talked about was like find other entrepreneurs to
Yeah.
be friends with. And like as an entrepreneur, you have to go out and find them. Like
Yeah.
they're not just going to
Hmm.
be in your environment like in a work environment. So you have to be more intentional, but it's important to have those people,
Hmm.
to just like
I
have a
know.
group chat and be able to text random things that you need to process, or hey, I'm struggling with this, or even celebrating something like I
Yeah.
signed a new client, and they can be
Yeah.
excited with you.
Yeah, no, exactly. I definitely want to work on finding more of that community too, because right now I feel like a lot of it is like well, I have my assistant Martha who I can talk to
Right.
about a lot of things, and then my boyfriend, and that's kind of like it. And there's some
Yeah.
people like that I've worked with in the past that I can talk to about things, but I do think like you said, it is important to try to find that community. And I want to try to find people too that are even like near where I live that we can just like go and work somewhere and
Yeah.
just like not necessarily even have to say much, just someone to be there to just like while we're both working and doing our own thing.
Yeah. I love that idea. And because you live in like a bigger city, I'm sure you could find those people.
Yeah.
That'd be
No,
cool.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, so we have started talking about your assistant.
Yeah.
And so I think that that is probably a big thing that I'm thinking as you're talking. I'm like, you are kind of naturally putting things in place to avoid creative burnout, probably
Mhm.
without even realizing it.
Yeah.
So one of those things being hiring someone, right? Because then you
Yes.
don't have to worry about as much of like the nitty-gritty stuff that might wear you out.
Exactly. Yes.
So,
And so what really happened for what made me decide that I did want to hire someone is like thinking in my head, I'm spending about, I mean, the administrative tasks take a lot more time than you think they do. Like, probably about 50% of my time is being spent doing the other things besides just designing. So, my thought is, if I could design literally double, just spend like that extra time now designing and hire someone else to do that other 50%, then why wouldn't I type of thing.
right. Yeah.
I can do the things I enjoy more, have someone else do more like administrative work, like as much social media as they can do. So yeah, it's been great. And also, so this I haven't like said this out loud yet, but I am going to be hiring somebody else too.
Oh, what's the role? That's
So
so
it's going to
exciting.
kind of change the whole dynamic of the business, but I think in the best way.
So
So it's
excited.
coming like it should. I mean, things can change. So knock on wood, but like I think in like a month it'll be happening. Um, but it would be a graphic designer who I'm without going into too much detail, I think I know who I'm getting at this point. It's just like a 5%, maybe not. Um, but if I do get her, then she's going to be doing adding a whole bunch more to the business rather than just logo design. She will be in charge of all other add-ons. So like business cards, banners, whatever else you might
Smart.
need for graphic design, because I have a lot of clients that are like, can you do this for me too? Can you
Yeah.
do social media highlight covers, whatever it is? There's like so many other stuff, other things that go with it, but I just don't have the time to do it right now.
It's so
So
smart.
yeah. And then she would also be doing all logo revisions. So past the concept, but everything would still go through me. She would
Right.
be doing, and a lot of them are straightforward. Like, you know how
Right.
that works. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, change the
Change
color
this
to
color.
this, whatever. And
Yeah.
she's my age, has just as much experience as me. So, like, I trust her with everything. So, yeah, she would be doing all revisions and all the other graphic design work, and maybe like a brand guide and stuff too, and help me with logos when needed. So,
That's a dream. Look at
I
you.
know.
I love that for you and your
Yeah.
business. I love seeing like businesses grow and evolve and change. And like that is such a smart move.
Yes.
So, my question for you with hiring your first one is, do you feel like it went how you thought it would go? Like, did it relieve you and help you in the ways you thought it would?
Yes. 100%. Um, it yeah, I have so much less to do now, like for so one of the big things is actually emails and DMs. It takes a lot of time, and there's a ton of inquiries that don't go through, but you still have to respond to everybody. um,
Mm,
so going through all that stuff took me some days literally like a couple hours at least. Like if that's the thing with posting on social media. If you have one video that goes viral, then you have a huge swarm that goes in. Like over last weekend, we had probably, Martha said, over 300 emails just from one weekend. And I mean, most of them are just looking for, a cheap logo, but you have a lot of legit clients in there too. So you just have to go through all of them. That takes a lot of time. I told her, I was like, if I didn't have you, I don't know what I'd do. I'd be so behind right now in work. So that helps a ton. And another big thing too is like those mock-ups that you see, the logos on things.
yeah, which I
And then
love that you do that.
she does a lot of them. I kind of like trained her like to do it the way I kind of like those things, and she's great at it. So she'll create the mock-ups, add it to the site, and make like website edits. So things like that that you don't think take that long, but they really do.
I do. It adds up.
And some like video editing, she'll do like that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So yeah,
That's
it helps a
awesome.
lot.
Yeah, that's so great. Was it hard for you to figure out what to charge and how to monetize it? I think a lot of artists are like, how do I put a number on this?
Yeah, I actually had someone DM me like last week that was like, what do you charge? I'm trying to ask other designers so I know what to charge. And not that I think that's a bad question at all, but I think that it really depends. And I don't want to be that person that says like it's case by case, but you shouldn't copy your pricing based on another designer, because every designer's at a different place. Every designer has different amount in their portfolio, different like demand. Like I have to raise my prices because of my demand right now, like where they've like doubled in like a year, but that's because of my demand. Like I can't keep up with the workload, so to raise your prices. So
Yeah, right.
I mean, I kind of say like start at what you think is fair. At, like figure in your head like how long do you think it's going to take you? Just kind of guesstimate. Figure how much do I want to make per hour? Is it starting as low as $20? Whatever it is, starting off, figure that out. Tell a potential client the price. If they bite and they take it, and every client takes it, then that's probably like, okay, you can raise your prices more. But if they're not, then lower it a little. Just like kind of adjust it based on what's working for you and what's getting you clients. And then just slowly raise as you get more in your portfolio, gain experience,
Yeah,
just go from there.
that's good. Do you raise on like a regular basis, or is it more like when you start to just feel like I can't handle this, I need to raise it?
So I actually thought, so I thought my prices were high, but I keep having people tell me that you need to raise your prices. You need to raise your prices. Like if you're booked out, till October right now, like your prices should be higher. So some of it is people telling me honestly, like you need to raise them more, or like people that are like, I can't wait that timeline right now, but your pricing is fine. That's one of those cases where I'm like, dang, like I wish I could fit them in, but I just can't right now. So like, yeah, I would just say I raise it based on demand, and then over time too with experience, maybe every year or something like that. But it's more just demand and what's also working for, like if I have my employee and then hire someone else, how much am I still making with them? Like
Right.
taking those kind of things into account.
Yes, that's very true. There's a lot
Yeah.
to consider.
I was going to ask you too, like back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
I know like you and your husband are kind of running it. What does
Yeah.
he do versus like what you do?
He actually acts a little more as as one of our contractors. Like he
Really?
does the client work because I have a specific contractor for each service that we offer.
Yeah.
And so like I have a web designer, he's like our video editor, and
Yeah.
he also writes music, and he helps with some graphic design stuff as well. He kind of, when he came on, he was just kind of helping with everything because I was in burnout mode because I
Yeah.
was doing client work and managing everything and just like couldn't keep up. So he just kind of took whatever I could give him. And then as things have, just kind of settled down over the last 6 months,
Yeah.
now we're trying to really niche him into video editing, podcast editing, and also some like music, either production or composition, because that's his true passion.
Yeah.
Which,
That's
and
awesome.
he and I have had that conversation too of like, he has quite a few hobbies that could be monetized.
Yeah.
And so he has kind of said, like, I'm going to pursue monetizing this one and I'm not going to pursue
Mhm.
monetizing this one so that I can keep it. So we
Yeah.
have had that conversation as well. I think it's important to just be intentional about it.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
Does he have
So
another job too, or is he like fully dedicated
fully
to?
dedicated
I love that.
to us. Yeah. So, but it frees me up so much because
Yeah.
I can literally just like, he's kind of a little bit of a catch-all as well because he is my husband and we live in the same house. So I can
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, Luke will do that for you. like, you know, but
Yeah.
it's
How
been
is
great.
that?
It works for us. That's
Yeah.
the thing, is it's so dependent on your personalities and your
Mhm.
work styles. But
Yeah.
for me, I'm the kind of person that would rather just be in charge and tell everybody else what to do. And he's the kind of person that would rather just be told what to do and do it.
That's perfect.
And it just works out. And it's a little bit of a flipped gender role, but like
Yeah.
that's okay. Like I think
No.
I struggled with it at first. I'm like, okay, I'm your wife, but I'm kind of your boss. Like, how are we going to navigate this? And so there is just a line. Like he's the leader of our marriage and our family. I'm just a little bit more the leader of the business, and that's just okay.
Yeah. But that's great because you know
And
that. You know the boundaries and stuff like that.
yes, and he is like partial owner,
Hmm.
and he does help a lot with like sales strategy because he has that background and I don't.
Mm.
And also like I can't even tell you the value of like the moral support of having that person. Like you were
Yeah.
talking about, like having Martha, having your boyfriend, like I just process so much with him, and just having
Hmm.
him there to like, because I'm one of those people that like I'll get really worked up, but he's
Yeah.
so chill and calm, and so he can kind of like bring me back down. So
Yeah. Then
it's a
it's
great for us.
like when you are worked up, he's also invested in the relation or in the business too, along with the relationship. So it's like you can vent to him and he also understands what you're talking about with the business. It's
Yes,
not just a boyfriend that got home from work and you're just like laying everything on him. He can like
exactly.
relate and knows. That's
It
awesome.
one of my favorite things is like being in like groups with like family or friends or whatever, and hearing him giving people updates on the business. I'm like, this is so nice that he can give the update and I can just chill over here.
Yeah. And then they don't have to ask you.
Yeah, it's great because I've like talked about it enough at this point. So
That's awesome. I love that.
it's been great for us. So and yeah, we both get to do, like, I am doing what I love. I am doing what my brain naturally does, but I
Mhm.
have been careful to like keep other hobbies outside of it. I'm careful to like put my phone away
Yep.
like at the end of the day. And I also, another boundary I draw is like I don't really take work communication to my personal number. I keep it on other apps so that it can't like try to bother me during my off time.
Yeah, no, that's smart. I need to be better with that. I set up all of my emails to my phone now too, so they all go off. And there will be times like I'm in such a good mood and I see an email and I'm just like, and it just like ruins my mood. So I don't do a good job at separating the two. Like I know I don't because I'm too
Yeah.
invested. That not that saying other people aren't invested, but I'm just like too, it's on my brain all the time. Like I just,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll get there though.
Yeah, you'll
If
get
that
there.
creative burnout ever happens, the total creative burnout, then that's when it'll
Yeah.
definitely happen for me.
There will come a breaking point at some point and you'll just want to throw everything out the window, because that's what happened with me, because I was just like interacting with clients via text and phone call and stuff. And
Then I wonder if like if that happens though, am I just going to be like, okay, the next day I'm fine, reset, let's go again.
maybe
Yeah.
it's all about your personality. But I think you're a wonderful example of like making this work, and you've obviously been super successful. So it's just so fun for me to watch your journey,
Well, thank
and I'm so pumped for your growth, and I can't wait to see where things keep going. So
you.
on to end on the note that we always end on, share with me, and since we've been talking about business, you can talk personal or you can talk business, but what in this moment today is bringing Nicole peace?
Oh, today.
Or
Um,
this week?
this podcast.
Oh, that's sweet.
Um, so in general, things bringing me peace is, well, we've talked about this, but this is a more generalization, but getting to do what I love every day and having what I'd always dreamed about doing, like even as a kid, like being an artist and getting to do that, like still getting to do that is huge for me. I definitely don't take it for granted. I love what I do. And then also, I'm very appreciative of Martha, my assistant, and having her help me with things and um, just being able to take a lot off of my plate. Um, let's see what else. This is like, I thought about this one earlier. This is one not specifically this week, but just a feeling in general that gives me peace. Is after sending one of my clients a logo and that time in between when you're like very tense, but then they respond saying that they love it. That is like one of the best feelings ever. It's like, oh, yes, they had like, they're happy with what I did. Like, I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
such a relief and brings me such peace.
I believe that.
Yes. And then also another big one is just when a client, and you have done this before, and it literally makes my day, I mean it, is when the logos are done and the clients send me updates of their logo being used on things and how they're loving it and things like that and getting to see it, or even like if I ever were to like drive past one and see it being used, like just seeing people loving the designs that I create.
Yeah,
Peace.
I love that. That's so sweet.
Oh, and outside of work, we can talk about outside
Yes,
of,
outside of work.
because I need more of that time.
Yes,
Um, just loving my dog all the time. He brings me peace. He's in the back right there.
truly
Yeah.
such a sweetie. For
Ajax.
those, if you're
Ajax.
watching on YouTube, you get the perks of getting to see Jax right
Ajax.
now.
He
He
is
is he is not gonna
he is
look up
so
for
sweet.
anything right now.
But I'm a big coffee person. I love going to coffee shops, whether it's working there or just like in the morning, starting off my morning, going to a cute new coffee shop, trying out things like that, trying out new restaurants, going on vacations. I love the beach and water. So those are things that bring me peace.
Me too.
But I want to know what is bringing you peace this week too. You have to answer.
Oh, thanks for asking. I don't think I've ever had anyone ask it back. I think what is currently bringing me peace this week is I had a lot of extra time yesterday and the day before to process.
Mm-hmm.
The last 6 weeks or so, I've been trying to get away from the word busy and just use the word like sprint or push
Yeah.
season, because I've just been in a sprint of juggling a lot of things, and
Yeah.
I've noticed that like things have fallen to the wayside because there just isn't space in my brain. And I've also just realized through being a business owner of like how important it is to just step back and take time to process.
Yeah.
And so I had the opportunity to do that. Luke actually went out of town, so I was like alone.
Mm-hmm.
And just having extra processing time and getting my brain back to a calm space is
Good.
bringing me peace right now. Well, this has been so fun. And I think honestly, people are going to be so inspired just by hearing your story,
Oh,
because
thank
I
you.
am. I'm so excited for you. I love to see other people thrive. I think I just love to like get excited for other people, see other people's potential. It's just like one of my favorite
I love
things.
that. I've had so much fun. I love talking to you. Of
Yes. Yay. Thank you. This has been so fun. I'm sure
course.
we'll keep doing it, but I'll keep cheering you on Instagram, and I am linking your website, your social media, all down in the description so everybody can connect with you there. But thank you for being on the podcast, and everybody, we will see you next week. thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. Don't forget to connect with us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and we would love it if you would leave a review wherever you're listening. We'll see you next week for more tips for how to become a peaceful entrepreneur.